99.9 of guys out there, when trying to attract girls, are simply doing it all wrong. What you're about to learn is the most effective strategy for attracting girls, and it's easily the number one strategy that is used by men who identify most with the Sigma. So with that said, let's begin now. When I was younger, something that always intrigued was how the typical bad boys always seemed to end up with the same type of girl again and again and again. And every time that I would see them, they would have a different girlfriend. But for some strange reason, this girl was almost identical to all of the other girls that they had dated. But at the same time, she was slightly different. Most guys think that attracting girls is inherently difficult, not realizing that there is actually somewhat of a formula for doing it. The formula goes a little something like this. Every single person on the planet, including the girl that you like, goes for a certain type of guy. But the problem is that people don't go around telling other people what their type is. Imagine if every person walked around with a huge emoji over their head that told you exactly the type of person that they are attracted to. Dating and attraction would be so much easier if this was the case. But so far we haven't developed the technology to where we're all living in a giant video game where we can put emojis above our head. So in the meantime, all that we can really do when it comes to trying to figure out somebody's type is guess. And the Sigma male is arguably one of the most effective males when it comes to attracting girls. It's not because he's super confident or super mysterious, although these things definitely help. The thing that makes the Sigma so incredibly good at what he does is just knowing what he is looking for. Nothing more, nothing less. Growing up, the quote-unquote bad boys in school always had a different girlfriend. But if you looked at each girl individually, they all would fit into the same basic archetype. Imagine you're playing Pokemon. Go after you throw enough Pokeballs, you start to see patterns, and eventually you discover that some Pokemon are easier to catch with certain types of balls. Now the reason why the bad boys always had countless girlfriends who were all different, yet all the same at the same time, because each one of these girls fit into a specific archetype, and the guy who was dating all of these girls had realized that the archetype or character that he fit into best was extremely effective for attracting the specific type of archetype that all of the girls fit into. Imagine you have 100 doors in front of you, and you reach down into your pocket, and you find that you only have a single key to unlock them. Now each door represents a random girl that you haven't even met yet, but that you might be attracted to. Now most guys will go to each and every door and try to stick their key in. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but these are doors we were talking about here. Nothing more. Now, what if the key in your pocket can only unlock one door out of the 100? Think about how much time and energy you would waste going around and trying to unlock every single door with a key that is only good for one of them. The strategy makes absolutely no sense, yet it is the exact strategy that many guys use every single day when they're trying to attract girls. And think about what would happen to you mentally if you were to start sticking your key into each keyhole on each door, and then one door after another. Every single time that you do it, it fails to unlock the door. Eventually you're going to start thinking that there is something wrong with your key, when really you're just sticking your key into the wrong doors. If you went out there and you tried to attract 20 different girls, and every single one of them turned you down, you would probably start to think that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. But what if instead of just guessing and trying to stick your key into every door, even if it's not the right fit, what if you became very selective and you made sure that you only put your key into the right door or into the right lock? What most guys fail to understand is that girls are very different when it comes to attraction compared to guys. Most guys, as long as a girl is moderately good looking, will feel some sort of attraction for the girl. This means that theoretically every girl on the planet has a master key because their key could unlock 95 out of 100 of the doors, whereas a man's key can probably only unlock 1 or 2. See, girls are very selective in terms of what they find attractive, and what one girl finds incredibly attractive another might find incredibly repulsive. Every single guy on the planet has a rough archetype that they fit into based on their character, and that archetype will determine the type of girl that they can most easily attract. Our goal when comes to attraction should always be to gain the most reward for the least amount of effort, because that is the most effective way to do so. The question that you have to ask yourself is, what archetype are you, and what type of girl does that archetype attract best? Or in other words, what type of door is your key most likely to unlock? Many girls in my school growing up would always pick a bad boy, so it quickly became obvious that this was the type of guy that these girls were attracted to. Other girls would pick the ball player or the guy who was popular with a really social guy who had status. Then you have girls who are into nerdy guys and girls who are only attracted to super dominant alpha males. What you have to understand is that every single girl out there has a type, and with enough experience, eventually, you will know just by looking at a girl what type of guy she goes for. The most effective way to attract girls is using the keyhole method, or selectively choosing only the type of girl that is most likely to find you attractive, and then ignoring the rest. If your specific key that you have works best at unlocking blue doors, for example, then don't waste your time trying to unlock doors that aren't blue. It's like, if you're naturally really good at video games, why would you want to waste your time trying to become the best football player? This is the most effective way to attract girls, using a little something I like to call the keyhole method. And with that said, you guys are awesome. To see next best way to level up as a man, watch this video here.